The day the angry female CEO hired a new janitor, no one in the building expected their lives to change, but what his child said would reach straight through her carefully built walls and shatter everything she thought she knew. And before this story ends, you'll understand why sometimes the smallest voice carries the greatest power. If stories like this move your heart, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel, because what comes next might just change the way you see people forever. Everyone at the Glass and Steel Tower knew her reputation. Sarah Whitmore, CEO. Brilliant. Ruthless. Always angry. Her heels echoed through the hallways like warnings, her sharp eyes missed nothing, and her temper was legendary. Employees whispered that she had no heart, only targets and deadlines. Meetings ended with people shaken, emails came back in red ink, and no excuse was ever good enough. What no one talked about, because no one really knew, was the loneliness that lived behind her penthouse windows or the grief she had buried so deep she convinced herself it was gone. That morning, Sarah fired another janitorial company after spotting a coffee stain near the elevator. She didn't care that the floors sparkled elsewhere or that the staff worked overnight. "I want someone new. Today," she snapped to Hour. By afternoon, they brought in Daniel Reyes, a quiet man in his late 30s with tired eyes and polite manners. He listened more than he spoke, nodded respectfully, and said thank you too often. He needed the job badly, though he didn't say it out loud. His wife had passed away 2 years earlier, and he was raising his 6-year-old daughter, Lily, alone. Every dollar mattered. Every chance mattered. Daniel started that same evening, pushing his cart through empty hallways while executives headed home. Sarah stayed late as usual, reviewing reports with a clenched jaw and a cup of cold coffee beside her. She barely noticed the janitor except to scowl when his mop bucket squeaked too loudly near her office. "Be quiet," she snapped without looking up. Daniel apologized instantly. "I'm sorry, ma'am." She rolled her eyes and went back to work, already dismissing him as invisible. The next evening, something unexpected happened. Daniel had no babysitter, and Lily's school program had ended early. With no other choice and fear in his stomach, he brought Lily with him, instructing her to sit quietly in the break room with crayons and a juice box. She promised she would. Lily was a gentle child, observant, with a habit of noticing things adults missed. While Daniel cleaned, she wandered quietly, her sneakers barely making a sound on the carpet. When Lily saw Sarah through the glass wall of her office, she stopped. Her small face changed. She walked closer, pressing her hands against the glass, staring at the woman inside as if seeing a ghost. Sarah looked up, irritated, ready to scold whoever had let a child roam free, until she met Lily's eyes. Something about them made her pause. Lily tilted her head and whispered, not knowing the glass muted her voice, "It's her." Sarah felt a strange chill. She stepped outside her office. "Where are your parents?" she asked sharply. Lily looked up, unafraid. "My daddy's cleaning," she said, pointing down the hall. Then she smiled softly and added words that stopped Sarah's breath. "You used to cry in the hospital hallway. Mommy held your hand." The world seemed to tilt. Sarah crouched slowly to Lily's level. "What did you say?" Lily frowned, thinking hard. "When my mommy was sick. You were there too. You were alone. Mommy said, 'Be kind, she's hurting.' I gave you my teddy." Memories flooded back violently. A hospital corridor. White walls. The smell of antiseptic. Her younger sister Emily, dying of cancer. Sarah alone, breaking, collapsing into tears, until a little girl and her mother sat beside her. A teddy bear placed into her shaking hands. A voice saying, "You're not alone." Sarah had never forgotten that moment, but she had never known their names. She had convinced herself it was a dream. Daniel rushed over, pale with fear. "I'm so sorry, ma'am." She shouldn't have. Sarah stood abruptly, her eyes wet. No, she should have. The room was silent. Employees who had stayed late watched in shock as their fearsome CEO knelt and hugged a janitor's child tightly. Sarah whispered, almost breaking, "I kept the teddy for years." From that night on, everything began to change, though not all at once. Sarah didn't suddenly become soft or perfect. She still worked hard, still demanded excellence. But she started noticing people. Asking names. Saying thank you. She promoted managers who led with respect, not fear. She created a childcare room in the building, inspired by Lily, and a scholarship fund in her sister's name. Daniel was offered a better position in facilities management, with flexible hours. When he tried to refuse, Sarah said quietly, "Your kindness saved me once."